Hello everyone! Welcome to a very exciting video today.
That's right, much more exciting than last week's.
Oh, much more.
Loyalists, you.
I mean, there's a lot to be said for staying loyal to the Emperor during these trying times.
Listen, my first army was Chaos Marines. I have a certain affinity for the Legion's Traitors. Word Bearers were my first army. You'll hear me gush about them later. But they're just, I don't know, I've just been having a lot of fun with this book.
Alright, so I'll admit it. The first Heresy army I ever collected was also a Traitor Legion. It was my beloved Iron Warriors. But we are here to talk about all 9 of the Traitor Legions. We have with us the Liber Hereticus. Hold that beautiful tome up. Look how big this thing is.
That thing is gorgeous.
Give us the side view on this. Oh, yeah. As you'd expect, this book has everything, literally everything you need to play with Traitors Astartes.
That's right.
So, it has all of the data slates. It has rules for all 9 legions. It has the rights of war, the warlord traits, their Primarchs, their named characters, their unique units. It has everything you need. This book is really, really awesome. And, yeah, 9 Traitor Legions. You ready for this?
Oh, born ready.
Born ready?
Born ready. I don't care how good they are, I'm playing my Word Bearers. My Word Bearers, I'd be carrying the word.
That is pretty reasonable, and I'll say that right now I'm planning on playing some Loyalist scum, the false lapdogs of a dying emperor.
That's right.
But if I collect a Traitor army at any point, it's pretty much going to be Iron Warriors. They're my favorite, man. I just love them.
I know you do love your Iron Warriors thick and thin.
They got some really cool rules as well. So I'm really excited.
There's a lot of cool rules. Really express the flavor of your chosen legion.
Absolutely. So we will put a caveat on this, of course, before we start, which is that we are going to rank some of these wonderful legions. But you know what? It's all in fun. We're really here to just break down what all 9 legions do. So if you haven't had a chance to dive into this book yet, we want to give you a quick summary of what all the legions do. Hopefully that'll help you make a choice. Just because we rank something at the top as maybe a first among traitors, that doesn't mean that you can't play something else.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm planning on playing Word Bearers whether they have rules or whether they don't.
Yeah.
I just love my Word Bearers, and so that's what I'll be playing. But it is interesting to go through. There are very flavorful rules in every single legion, and I think no matter what legion you pick, you're going to have yourself a good time.
Yep. Ooh, comments from the chat. Brady Tatro says, all we know is that Word Bearers won't be S tier and are only played by nerds.
Well, I ain't no nerd, but I will be playing Word Bearers.
All right. Well, let's kick it off. We're going to go through the Traitor Legions in numerical order. So we're starting off with the 3rd Legion.
The third
Emperor's
Legion,
Children.
Astartes. Yes. They're quick. If you know anything about Emperor's Children, they are fast.
Yeah.
And when they charge, they get +1 initiative.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. When they charge, they count their attacks at +1 initiative. So they're not actually, they attack as though they had +1. So any rule that interacts with being initiative higher doesn't actually work. But they fight as though they're one initiative
They fight
step
one
higher.
above their step instead of at their step.
Yeah, which in a, it's only when they charge. Only when they charge. But it means they just fight first, basically, over basic troops. Like, if you're even, I go first. Nerd Bearers, excuse you, iDuff. Calling them Nerd Bearers. Get out of here. Get out of here. I will summon demons all over you.
Oh, man.
So their advanced reaction is super weird. Potentially good. I really have no way of knowing.
Okay.
When your opponent tries to charge you, you could be like, no, you. And then you charge them. But you have to roll higher than them on a charge roll. But if you don't make it, you shoot them. Okay,
so I charge you.
Right.
And I roll my charge.
You roll your charge.
Me, the White Scar player.
Right, and then I roll my charge. I'm like, hold up. I'm charging today.
And if you roll higher charge than me, you make the charge. Well,
I charge you.
You charge me.
I'm like, stop. Hammer time.
And then if you...
if I don't roll higher than you, I shoot you.
Okay. Do you wait until I make the charge? Or is it like if I'm 10 inches away from you and I roll a Snake Eyes...
It is when a charge distance roll is made, the reactive player must also... So it is... This is super weird, so we basically have to read the wording.
Okay.
So I have to do it when you declare a charge against me. So you say I'm charging, and I'm like... Bet. And then you
we don't do that here.
Then you roll the distance, then I roll the distance. If I'm equal to or greater than yours... I can choose to just make a charge immediately, canceling the enemy unit's charge if it's successful, and gaining all the usual benefits of a successful charge. So literally, it's just a no you.
Okay, so
then If the reacting player charges rolls lower than the enemy unit, the reactive player may choose to have the unit make a shooting attack targeting the enemy unit.
Okay, so it's this. It's basically it can just be an Overwatch attack, but then you have the chance of lol no you.
The problem is you can't count on it. If they charge you and you're a shooting unit, you're like, please roll low, please roll low, please roll low. But I guess if you have to make a really long bomb charge, then I guess it's decent, because if you make it, then I'm almost certainly shooting you.
I think if you would rather just shoot, you'll go ahead and just do the Overwatch reaction.
Yeah.
So you'll just call it there and be like, I'm just gonna Overwatch you. But if they ever line up a charging unit, especially since when you charge that initiative value, is like, whoops.
Yeah. Then my initiative is now 5 on base units. Your initiative is 4, and I'm like, no. We're hitting you today, and you also don't get any of the bonuses to charge. So you don't get the +1 attack. You don't get rage or any of that nonsense. Furious charge, none of it. So that is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that is really cool. And you know what? As someone said in the chat, it's perfect.
Yeah.
As all Emperor's Children should be.
As all Emperor's Children should be. And what if you don't want to take boring old troops?
I mean, I'm sure is there a rights of war for this?
There really is. What if you wanted to take the 3rd Company Elite?
The 3rd Company Elite?
3rd Company Elite.
Okay.
That would be Cacophony squads. Cacophony?
Oh, I think it's Cacophony.
Cacophony?
That sounds a lot better.
Cacophony.
Okay.
Cacophony. Yeah, that makes a little more sense. Cacophony squads can be taken as troops choices in a detachment, opposed to this.
Do they get line as well, or are they just troops?
They just get troops.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll have to check to see if they're line in their own data sheet, but probably not.
And then every infantry unit can gain a surgical augment and just become a little bit better.
What?
They get for plus 30 points.
Okay.
So they just get like a boost.
Okay.
So they can either get sonic shriekers, subsonic pulsers, or a sonic lance.
Ooh.
And they get like just a shooting attack, because they're like out of their
That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can take. Honestly, I like that. Taking Cacophony as troops. That's a very typical Noise Marine Emperor's Children unit. So
and Cacophony squads, they shoot.
Yeah. No, it's good that they've got a rights of war to get access to that. Yes.
Fulgrim just is an incredible duelist with an initiative of 8, and if he charges, counts as 9. Like, okay, lol. And the Palatine Blade squads get access to 3 perfect attacks.
Okay.
Whether they want to get -1 attack to either count as +1 weapon skill when you attack me, +1 weapon skill when I attack you, or +1 attack and -1 weapon skill.
Okay.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yeah, they hit.
Palatine Blades hit, and they're
chosen warriors and their counterattack.
So they're 165 for 5?
Yeah.
So, and the extra ones are 28. So
and they have a charnable weapon as well.
And they're 2 wounds with a 2-up save. So defensively, they are extremely similar to a Terminator.
Yeah.
But they are way cheaper than most of the elite Terminators.
And they functionally have a fair form of power weapon as well.
Yeah, the charnable weapons are
+1. It's not +1, it's rending.
Yeah, it's less AP, but rending.
It doesn't have a duelist's edge, but then they can also swap out, any model in the unit can swap out for a Phoenix weapon. So a Phoenix Rapier, a Phoenix Power Spear, which is AP3, also keeps rending or breaching. Murderous Strike 6+.
Ooh.
Yeah,
On a unit?
The Phoenix Power Spear, yeah, they're 5 points apiece, but boy, do they
I think I would just take all Phoenix weapons.
Phoenix Rapiers are AP3, rending 6+, Murderous Strike 6+. And you can get +1 attack, or you can do all that stuff. So yeah, they hit. Phoenix Power Spears are reach 1, which means they +1 initiative in combat.
And then on the charge, they're +1 initiative. So on the charge with Phoenix Spears, they're initiative 6.
And they're breaching 6+ instead of rending.
Yeah.
They are 2-handed, and they do have bolt pistols, so that would be -1 attack. I would rather keep the...
Yeah,
I would rather keep the rapiers.
+2 strength, though, means you're wounding on 2s.
It does do that, but you're -1 attack, which kind of...
But initiative 6 wounding on 2s,
But also, charnable weapons, I forgot they had duelist edge, so they get +1 initiative in challenges. So you can keep that on your sergeant, and then your guy hits real fast. Cacophony squads, they have a bunch of shots apiece.
Yep.
And you can make them your troops if you really want.
Okay. Well, that kind of slaps.
I would not want to fight Lucius in a duel, I tell you what.
Okay, so Emperor's Children seem to be really good edge over other combat armies. It feels like a combat army that's like good against other combat armies because you get initiative buffs, you get weird counter charges. All their unique units just like have more rules to win combat.
Yeah.
It's not like they're trying to go beat up the shooting armies. It's like, oh, you're a combat army? I am even more perfect than you at this, which is very Emperor's Children.
I would love to see Emperor's Children versus, World Eaters, because World Eaters just beat them up. And just like, not beat them up. Like, World Eaters are just trying to just like brute force beat them up, and Emperor's Children are like,
okay, Emperor's Children seem pretty good.
They seem good. Cacophony squads shoot. So I can definitely see taking a bunch of Palatine Blade, taking a bunch of Cacophony, taking a bunch of infantry units.
Yeah, their unique units are...
They seem fun and really good. And then you're a combat army with some shooting, and combat armies against a combat army with a little shooting.
Yeah.
You want to be the one with the little shooting. So I think they would do really well into other combat armies, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, honestly... From what we've seen so far, I think they're at least a strong choice, right?
I think
Emperor's Children seem really good.
We can adjust them up and down depending.
Absolutely. I think we'll have to adjust this a lot once we've seen everyone.
All right.
All right, let's go through my favorite.
Let's go.
Iron Warriors.
Iron Warriors.
So their base trait is that they get +1 strength whenever they make a ranged or melee attack against a dreadnought, vehicles, buildings, or automata. So just +1 strength whenever they hit something mechanical.
That seems good.
Seems good. We've already talked about how we think dreadnoughts are pretty good in Horus Heresy.
Dreadnoughts are...
Dreadnoughts not bad.
They're Tonka tough.
Tonka tough. Yeah, they seem really strong. Their reaction is kind of awesome. When someone shoots at Iron Warriors, you roll your hits, you roll your wounds, I roll my saves. Before I take feel no pains or remove any casualties, no you. The Iron Warriors unit shoots back. They gain gets hot, and they shoot all their weapons twice.
So this... What? Sorry?
They shoot all their weapons twice.
They shoot twice?
Double shots.
So this is like the standard reaction, but cranked to 11.
Yeah.
Because it's not after you take saves, and it double shots.
Yeah, it is after I take saves, but it's before I pull casualties.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's the full strength of the unit firing back twice.
With gets hot.
Sure. But what that means is, unlike the normal reaction where if I shoot you and you lose half your unit, only half your unit gets to shoot back.
Yep.
But
still really good. Yeah, so Baron, thank you so much for that £5 super chat. Baron says that we should take an Uno card whenever we play Emperor's Children. Just slam the reverse down every time we make the charge. I would literally love to do that.
The problem is if I play... First off, Emperor's Children sound fun as hell.
They do.
If I were to play that against Mark, I'm never rolling higher than him on a charge. I know that.
Factually accurate.
So I'll shoot him.
Yeah, no honor the prince here. All right, so Iron Warriors though. So yeah, awesome
that
reaction.
Is super.
It just builds for shooting armies. One of their warlord traits is awesome because it combos with this and one of their unique units, which again, amazing. So the Tyrant of Lysatra warlord trait, every time you shoot a non-blast weapon that's either rapid fire, assault, or heavy, just make 1 extra hit roll. So like a missile launcher is now heavy too. Everyone in the unit. It's not nowhere, it's in the unit. Yeah, and then you have to do one of the either this or the response, like the reaction to shoot back, the generic one. You have to do a shoot back reaction of some kind whenever you get shot, and it doesn't take up one of your reaction points.
That is so you know how Emperor's Children was a combat army to beat combat armies?
Yeah.
This feels like a shooting army to beat shooting armies.
It does. Then I just have to mention the Tyrant Siege Terminators right now. So Tyrant Siege Terminator is expensive as heck. It's 300 for 5. It's 55 each after that point. But they basically have a Cyclone Missile Launcher, which didn't really exist at the time. But a Cyclone Missile Launcher means that they put out 2 shots at Strength 8 AP3. So with this Warlord trait attached, there are now 3 shots each at Strength 8 AP3. And that means that if you shoot them, they shoot you back. It might be 6 shots each. As Strength 8 AP3. And of course they ignore the heavy penalty, because why wouldn't they? And they have firing protocols so that they can fire their combi bolters and this at the same time, which again is awesome. They do have 2 different rights of war. So one of their war gear options that they have is Iron Warriors get a shrapnel bolter, which is rapid fire. It's AP dash instead of AP5, which lol, Marine meta, who cares? It's 18-inch instead of 24, but it's pinning.
Pinning is
really good right now. So basically, and literally anyone can just replace their bolters with shrapnel bolters. And if they're in one of the rights of war, the Hammer of Olympia, then they make an extra shot with their bolters all the time instead of doing it, because they lose Fury of the Legion, they gain Fury of Olympia, so they make an extra shot at full distance and then in rapid fire range, they make 3 shots with their shrapnel bolters. So,
Pretty good.
blat, blat, blat. Really good pinning stuff there. And then they have the Iron Fire. The Iron Fire is their other Rites of War. It's like the artillery one. It makes you take a Siege Breaker, which is totally fine, because that's what you wanted anyway. Because he's just a dude with a heavy weapon.
That is kind of
so you'll literally give a Siege Breaker a las cannon, give him the Warlord traits that he makes an extra shot with his 2-shot las cannon, and then you join him to the Terminator squad, and they're like, oh, we shoot everything off the table now. This thing kills every dreadnought in line of sight, just like bang. But whenever you shoot a scatter weapon within 12 inches of an Iron Warrior, you scatter 1d6 instead of 2.
Oh, interesting.
And the entire army rerolls failed saving throws against blast weapons. And you get access to Phosphex weapon on your quad launchers.
So if your army is built around blasts, do not play Iron Warrior. Do not play into Iron Warriors.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just imagining like if people ever played an Iron Fire versus Iron Fire, and it's just literally everyone's rerolling their saves and not scattering all the entire game. It might take a while. But Phosphex is really good. It's short range, which is interesting, but Phosphex is Poison 3 plus AP 3 blast. So if you start like just thudding out a bunch of blast templates that scatter d6 inches instead of 2d6, you could kill Marines super fast.
I'm not into that.
Only 24-inch range.
Still, I don't want to have my Marines killed super fast.
Yeah. Yeah, the Iron Warriors drill used on the heavy weapons teams, not the 20-man bolter squads, I bet. That's probably true. Yes, we are talking about the special war gear as well. So the shrapnel bolters that Iron Warriors get are freaking awesome. Pinning is amazing. And if you get pinned, get wrecked.
Cool.
Get wrecked full. So, yeah, Iron Warriors, I think they're also a strong choice.
I think
they're a really good shooting army. They don't have any really interesting like things you can do with like combat other than just generic Space Marine stuff. And I still like combat better than shooting, but Iron Warriors do shoot.
They do.
Yeah. Right on. So, next up is Night Lords.
Next up is Night Lords. So they have a bit of a complicated trait, but it seems really cool. Like very in tune with what
thematic.
they're doing. So anytime they shoot or they fight against anything that's pinned, falling back, or outnumbered. So that's even shooting.
Falling back or outnumbered.
Yeah. You gain +1 to wound, to all wound or armor penetration rolls made during the shooting attack or assault. Yeah,
so you're just +1 to wound against vehicles all the time because you always outnumber a vehicle.
Yes. Well, no, vehicles count as 10.
Okay. That's more reasonable.
But you get +1 to wound or armor pen. And +1 to armor pen is really good. And bulky counts for it. So if you're bulky 3, you count as 3 models. So their Terminators shooting are just +1 to wound most of the time.
Yeah, so because it's 15, like a 5-man. Are Terminators bulky 2 or bulky 3?
I thought they were bulky 3, but they could be bulky 2. Either way, like they're real
They have
strong.
their own Terminators, I know.
Yeah, bulky 2, Conte car Terminators.
So that is.
Yeah, and their Conte car Terminators can they have good guns. We'll get to that. We're talking a Volkite Cavator or a Heavy Flamer, and if you're up close with them, you're very personal.
+1.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, buddy.
Their advanced reaction is super cool. When you charge them, they fall back like they failed a morale check, but they didn't actually fail a morale check. They immediately regroup as soon as they're done with it.
When you charge them?
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah. So they just fall back.
Yeah.
Now, if they fall back outside of 12 inches, you get to redeclare your charge. If they fall back exactly 12 inches away, you must still attempt to make that charge. So depending on how much of a risky biscuit you want to be, you can attempt to force them to roll that nat 12.
Oh, that's brutal.
Because it says if they're outside of range, you're allowed to switch targets.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Okay, so situational +1 to wound, but let's just be clear here. In Horus Heresy, getting +1 to wound is not as easy as spending a command point.
No.
+1 to wound is huge when you get access to it.
Also, just in case you were worried, right?
Yeah.
Just in case you were worried,
if I were.
Night Lords are particularly good at making you pinned, and then if you are pinned,
Night Lords have like good morale shenanigans?
They do, weirdly enough. They can give basically everyone fear. They basically can give everyone fear, and they have fear a lot of the time, and then they make you just take morale checks and get pinned, and if you get pinned, guess what?
Yeah, or if you start falling back, it's like, oh, yeah, +1 to wound against you.
Get out of here. Also, a lot of their units, or some of their special units, and you can upgrade characters to get Bloody Murder. If you charge something that's pinned or falling back, you get charge at +1.
Okay.
And then, if you make the charge, you get +1 attack. So they're especially good at cleaning up pinned and falling back units.
Yeah. Okay. So do not run away from the Night Lords. You know what? When Imperial Knights come out, I'll just play Imperial Knights against Night Lords.
Their close combat weapons
That'll
are
work.
really good. Nostraman chain weapons. They're essentially chain weapons with a bonus to your strength. So even just a basic chain blade is strength +1, AP3.
AP3?
With breaching 6+ and shred.
Okay.
Yeah, they will rip you up in combat.
You know what? That is good, though, because, like, Night Lords are notorious for having chain weapons. If they were just like chain swords, that would be really lame.
No, they're
I'm glad that they have good Nostraman chain weapons there.
Yes, and the Eschaton Power Claw is it's an unwieldy specialist weapon. It's not that great, but it does have Murder Strike 6+. So don't roll a 6 against them. Night Raptors and Terror Squads are both quite good. They are fear. They have Bloody Murder, so they're really good at killing things that are pinned or falling back. And you can give them all chain blades and stuff like that.
Yeah. Does Kurz do anything like interesting for the army?
Kurz, he hits pretty hard.
Well, he's a Primarch, you know.
Yeah. He basically has a psychic power that he tests on Leadership 7. And if he passes it, he gets 4+ Feel No Pain and +1 attack. But if he fails it, he takes perils.
Oh.
Yes. But he has a 4+ invul, and you can take invulns against perils.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So he hits. He hits real hard. He also makes his entire army gain night vision, bloody murder, and immune to fear.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's fair. If the Night Haunter is on the battlefield, I feel like you shouldn't be taking fear checks.
If he kills anything, if he or his unit he joins kills anything, like kills a whole unit, or destroys them due to sweeping events, all enemy units in line of sight of him that are not locked in combat immediately take a pinning check.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah. And don't worry, he can kill stuff. But yeah, he goes and he kills something, and your entire army hits the deck. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
So honestly, Night Lords look really fun. Sevatar absolutely mega slaps. The dude only has 4 attacks, but his weapon, basically, he's a dirty fighter. He doesn't fight fair.
No?
If your weapon skill 5 or more, he is instant death, straight up.
If your weapon skill 5 or more.
So if you matter, he kills you. If you don't matter, he also kills you because you don't matter. Yeah. So he hits really hard. He's also initiative 6 with Duelist's Edge. So when he's in combat with you, he's initiative 7.
Yikes.
If he's in a challenge.
Yeah. So that honestly, it sounds like a traitor version of Sigismund. Because Sigismund also is an absolute beatstick in combat. And what's his, and he's initiative 6 in Duelist Edge, so he's 7 in a challenge. So
that's right.
Do not let your characters fight Sevatar.
Don't worry, he also has a psychic power that goes off on a 7.
Ooh.
If he passes it, he gets +1 weapon skill and attacks. If he fails it, perils.
Don't fail it.
Don't fail it.
All right.
They seem good. Honestly, Conrad Curse seems really good. The ability to just kill something and make the entire army just drop to the deck feels real good. When that works, it's crazy. I think it's how many of the legions actually you get to ignore like morale shenanigans, because if you fail that, that's bad. Their rights of war, the big one, is they can just force it to be night fight for the first several turns.
Literally in Midnight Cloud?
Yes.
Nice.
They just make it. At the start of the 3rd turn, you can either choose to exit night fight or on a 4+ keep it for the following turn, and then
turn 5 and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But that's 1, 2, 3 of night fight. Means they're really good at getting up close.
That's right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have night vision a lot of the time. Like, especially if you take Comrade Curse, their entire army has night vision.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep. And Baron was asking in the chat if we could talk a little bit about how you'd build like a Night Lord army from the starter box. So just thinking about it, if you've got 40 Tactical Marines and you get +1 to wound against things you outnumber, that seems good. Like I would just take like all 10 Terminators, take a unit of 10 Terminators, get +1 to wound against anything that's not 20 models.
That you shoot or fight.
And if they have a 20 model squad, then just like kill one guy real quick, and then you outnumber them and +1 to wound.
Yeah. So that's how I build it out of the starter box, for sure. If you have the starter box, then big unit Terminators, a couple of medium units of infantry, and then you have the vehicles.
Solid. All right. Honestly, I feel like literally everything is a strong choice so far. Yeah, like none of these are bad. We may have to reorder this at the end.
Yeah.
All right, tell me what World Eaters do.
They hit, they don't stop hitting, and they hit until you are gone.
Yeah.
Their trait is super simple. If they charge, they get +1 attack in addition.
Okay. Yeah, so they're +1 attack on the charge, but then they're also +1 attack on the charge?
Yep, and
Good
even
combo.
if it's a disordered charge, they get the
So they'll still get one of them.
Yes. But if it's a regular charge, they get +2 instead of +1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their advanced reaction is exactly what you think a World Leader advanced reaction would be. If you shoot at them, they get a 5-up Feel No Pain, and then they charge you.
So if you shoot them from outside of 12, it's not a huge deal?
Right.
But if you shoot them from within 12, prepare for trouble.
Right, and make it
double.
Make it double. I mean, I think this is when you're right up on top of them. Then
yeah, you're running straight at them. They're like, oh, back up and shoot. And you're like, you didn't back up far enough.
hit you.
Because they could also do reaction in the movement phase so that they get up within 12.
Right.
Then the opponent moves away to shoot them. They're like, I'm going to move closer with my reaction. Then shooting phase, do another reaction.
It'd be weird if they got like a big army-wide bonus to charges too.
That would be weird, yeah.
That would be weird. Well, they do.
Oh.
Berserker Assault. All of their models get +2 to run, +2 to charge, +1 to leadership against pinning checks.
You know, that makes sense.
Rampager squads can be troops. Predator squadrons may be taken as fast attacks.
Predator one makes no sense, but good for them. You know what?
But so you must charge. You must charge if you're within 12.
I mean, that is a very World Eaters rule right there.
Yes.
So you're saying I have to run faster, and that I don't want to stop running.
No.
And if I get close to them, I'm going to charge them. But if I do, I'm going to be good at charging.
Yes.
Okay.
No, if they charge you, you will know. Their units hit like absolute bricks.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if the game plan is even remotely close, you are going to get off that charge at some point during your opponent's turn, and it's going to suck for them.
Yeah, if you just have to jam into them. So World Eaters sound like they're really pushing a slightly one-dimensional playstyle.
Yeah.
But they are leaning into it.
Even basic guys getting +2 to charge is huge, but anything that ordinarily has +2 is +4, you're just charging people. Matto is saying must charge is kind of bad. Sure, I guess.
It could be.
It could be, unless that's what you want to do.
I mean, I'm just waiting for the Imperial Knight to like walk in front of the tactical squad and be like, "What? What do you want?" But we don't have Knight rolls yet. So.
Yeah. So let's say you don't want to auto charge. You can take the Crimson Path, which you ignore the first wound inflicted on each unit each phase.
That's really cool.
Yep. Just
it's
simply
wound, so it doesn't affect vehicles. Just wound.
Wound. First
Does that work
wound
in Dreadnoughts?
Probably, yeah. All your independent characters get It Will Not Die, but critically, Rampager squads get Line.
Oh, that's good. Line
matters.
Line matters a lot.
Yeah. You have to have more units of infantry than anything else in the detachment, and you can only include one heavy support. Otherwise, it's pretty good.
It's not bad, yeah.
Pretty good. You hit like absolute champs in combat.
Yeah.
Ravening Madman is their special rule where you're -1 to wound them in combat, but you hit them on weapon skill 3. So they count as weapon skill 3 when you hit them, but you're -1 to wound.
Okay, so they're not even pretending to defend themselves. Like, yeah, you can hit me, but I'm just going to like walk right through it. That's a very interesting mechanic. That's really good into high weapon skill armies. We're like, yeah, we know you were going to hit us, but get wrecked.
And they have a variety of really scary combat weapons with Murderous Strike, Breaching, Rending, Duelist Edge. Like, they just Barb, Hook, Lash, a Meteor Hammer, Excoriator, Chain Axe just hits really hard. Angron
does what you think he'd do.
So let me talk about Angron real fast, because this guy is really, really, he hits very hard.
Oh, jeez.
So all models in his detachment get Feel No Pain and Adamantium Will 3+. Feel No Pain 6+, Adamantium Will 3+. You get a reaction allotment of 3 in your opposing player's movement phase, so you're just jamming your army up as they run at you. Yep. He can declare as many challenges as he wants.
And accept as many as he wants, right?
Exactly.
He can just keep, like you,
you.
It's like he lines them up like it's an action movie and just takes the action just in one swing and decapitates them.
Yeah.
So like all of them.
And at the start of every one of your turns, he gets +1 attack to his profile to a maximum of 10. And his weapons give him +1 attack, and he has +2 attacks on the charge.
Oh, he's got rage?
And he has Furious Charge as well.
Oh, yeah, and Rampage.
And he hates everything.
Yeah, he does.
And his melee weapons have Shred. So he will hit you with like 14 attacks when he goes in.
So Hatred is reroll all hits, Shred is reroll all wounds,
yes.
and he makes 1,000,000 attacks and he challenges as many people as he wants.
By like turn 4, he literally has like 14 attacks and challenges everybody. And on top of that, he doesn't have instant death. Only on a 3+. Not all the time. Only on a 3+ to wound.
Got it. Well, he does Shred at least.
He does Shred. He's AP 2. He's Strength 7. He has Murderous Strike on a 3+, and Armor Bane as well. So he'll rip tanks apart.
Oh, jeez. Armor Bane.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
No, I started reading his profile, and I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. You do not want to get hit by this guy.
So Angron does literally nothing except for charge you.
And when he charges you, he deletes everything. Because he has Rampage as well if he's outnumbered.
Yeah.
And he has Furious Charge, so he's going to be hitting you at Strength 9, actually, in combat on the charge. And he has +2 attacks because he charged, and he's a World Eater. And he has +1 attack because of Gorefather and Gorechild. And at the start of your turn, he got +1 attack.
Yes, fascinating.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
This dude can legitimately hit you with 15 attacks on the charge.
Woo!
It's Strength 9 Armor Bane, issues main challenges he wants, instant death on a 3+.
If one of the Primarchs was going to hit hard enough to kill God, it should be Angron.
This guy just deletes everybody.
So, like, looking at the Legion overall, I feel like they're still a little bit too one-dimensional for me.
Yeah. They have one playstyle they run at you. I mean, their special units hit like absolute champions, which you would expect.
Yep.
Karn also hits, but I got really excited by
Angron.
Angron. If I'm playing this army, I'm playing Angron. I'm putting him in as big a unit as possible. I'm running him forward. He's charging fools.
He's reacting every turn to just move as far forward as possible.
Yeah, every reaction is I move forward.
Yeah.
And then I eventually get close enough where I charge you in your turn, and then I charge you in my turn, and then I charge you in your turn. And it's just like...
Yeah. So I don't want to ever say that World Eaters are perfectly balanced because, they're World Eaters. They are very unbalanced. But they seem like they're like a good army, but they didn't inspire me as much as the other ones we've talked about because they're so one-dimensional.
The fact that that they hit so hard in an army where the damage characteristics are so much lower than anything else means I don't see them lower than perfectly balanced.
No.
Because nothing else in this game just makes units disappear into a puff of smoke the way World Eaters do.
Yeah, Angron will kill a Titan.
Oh, for sure. He'll kill anything. He's Armor Bane at Strength 9 AP 2. Like, kabonk, 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 with like 15 attacks.
Yeah, That's a little crazy town.
Is Furious Charge just the plus to strength, or is it plus?
It's just strength. Just strength. Yeah, it used to be initiative back in the day, but it is now just strength.
Don't worry, he's like initiative 6.
Yeah.
Also, he'll tank most other Primarchs because he just has a 4-up invuln and 6 wounds and Eternal Warrior.
Yeah, he just needs to not die in one go. Because he's only initiative 6.
Won't.
Yeah, Fulgrim shouldn't one-shot him, or like the Khan shouldn't one-shot him.
It's possible, but it just shouldn't happen. And then he will rip them in half.
Yeah, unless they've got some of the 3-up invuln Primarchs will make it out of that okay.
Possibly, yeah.
Because he is merely weapon skill 8.
Merely.
Yeah.
The problem is
Angron.
if you're in combat and you have a bunch of characters in there, you can challenge him with everybody and he has to split his attacks.
Oh, yeah.
But he will kill the entire unit and then hit your guy really hard.
All right. Let's go on to the Death Guard.
Yep.
All right. Yep. Death Guard, Stinky Boys. So their rule sounds a lot like it does in 40K, which is that whenever they're just making a move, not activating a jump pack, not running, they ignore movement penalties, so like difficult terrain, which is really like fine. But they also count as stationary, which basically means that everyone like ignores the heavy penalty, and then they count as stationary for any rules. They're like, if you don't move, your bolt guns are better. Any of those, Death Guard just move forward. Their movement characteristic. No, nothing more, nothing less. They just walk forward and they shoot like they didn't. And that's honestly pretty good. That's good for like a board control type of shooting list. Yeah, they have a really good reaction. which is that when an enemy shoots at a Death Guard unit, you pop this reaction, and you gain a 4+ feel no pain on that unit. And then, when they're done shooting, you auto-pass any morale check or pinning check that was required by that shooting attack. And then, after you auto-pass that check, you make a 7-inch move.
Sure.
Yeah, just move up to 7 inches.
That is an insane reaction.
It is so good.
It's very solid.
Gosh darn. Yeah, Death Guards seem really good at just taking line units, walking up to like objectives, and just being like, I am going to be efficient the entire way. That's just a good efficient buff on infantry. And this does build itself more towards an infantry list because vehicles don't care about that much. But that's makes sense for Death Guard. Death Guard are the big units of tactical squads walking forward at you.
Yeah.
Big units of legionnaires. They actually have a really cool warlord trait, which is a 12-inch aura of -2 leadership for morale or regroup tests for any enemy unit that doesn't have an independent character in it.
Interesting.
So, because we've talked about how impactful that can be.
Yeah, that's super good.
That can actually be a really big deal. And also, obviously, it'll work in combat.
Yeah.
They have 2 different rights of war. One of them really plays into their legion strength a lot, so I kind of wanted to talk about it. It's called Creeping Death. It's the one where you have to take a siege breaker, but while you're in your deployment zone, you gain 6+ shrouded. Your entire Death Guard deployment zone counts as difficult and dangerous terrain for everyone. Remember that you ignore difficult terrain. Your army auto passes dangerous terrain. Just your army. Dangerous terrain.
You said your deployment zone counts?
Your entire deployment zone is difficult and dangerous, and you already auto pass difficult, or you ignore difficult for your trait. Then your army gains, you auto-pass dangerous terrain checks. Then every single terrain feature on the battlefield gains difficult and dangerous. So just everyone else is like kind of towing around ruins and like terrain, like, I don't really want to touch this, and you're just walking straight through
you
it.
just walk clean through. That is
really cool.
That's really cool.
It's a lot of, and it's very easy to take that right of war. Like there's not like too harsh of limits on it. So honestly, I really liked it.
Yeah.
Mortarian's actually pretty cool. He can once a game like teleport 10 inches instead of shooting and then can charge afterwards, like it's no big deal. And it's like, oh. And then he leaves a unit to do that, so it's not like he brings an entire Terminator squad 10 inches forward. But it's kind of weird that like, Mortarian just is like walking around and then he's like, oh, shooting phase, I'm gonna slide 10 inches to the left and go hit someone. But he has to leave a unit to do that, so it's a little bit dangerous. Still, Death Guard fits into the playstyle really well. They're just walking forward, being a little more durable than you think, suffering literally no penalties for walking forward. It's a Death Guard way to play.
Yeah, exactly. Just grinds.
Yeah. Their unique units are all pretty efficient, as you'd expect, all pretty tough. Yeah. I think that they're less dynamic than some of the other armies we've talked about, but they're still good.
They seem...
Just their line stuff just always being stationary means like, yeah, just heavy weapon squads are way better than anyone else's.
Yeah.
I still think that they're in the middle. I don't think that they didn't have as many cool rules when I was reading through them as like Emperor's Children or Iron Warriors.
Yeah. They seem very monodimensional as well, but they just grind at you and you're like, ah.
Yep. Let's see. Don't they ignore difficult terrain? Yeah, they do. They ignore all movement penalties, so they don't get slowed down by walking through terrain. Yes, they took warp time away from 40k Mortarian just to give it to him in 30k. That's honestly true. All right. 1,000 Suns.
T-Suns, they look really strong.
Oh, so
their thing is all units with infantry and cavalry gain Psyker.
Why wouldn't they?
All independent characters, so they get access to their own special little tree thing. Some of the powers are pretty good. Some of the powers are more situational.
Yeah.
But all their independent characters get Psyker, and they get regular powers, so you get all the good ones in there. So if you were worried about Psyker, like if you were worried about psychic powers, don't worry, they got you covered. And Magnus is A-Force in the psychic phase.
Of course, really?
Yes.
Magnus.
Their advanced reaction is when you shoot at them, they take a psychic check, and if they pass it, they get a 3-up invuln.
Oh, jeez.
If they fail it, they get a 5-up invuln and take perils.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still, once a game, right?
Once a game, they just put up a force field and bounce shots.
3-up invuln.
Yeah. So all of their infantry units, like their sergeants, get access to the Prospering Arcana.
Okay.
Which has things that range from the first wound you do on an enemy unit in shooting, you get to allocate.
Yep.
So if you have a las cannon in your unit, you go ba-bang, and that's going on your character.
Now, you don't have mixed squads anymore, but still, just putting that on a heavy weapon squad is still...
Exactly. Yeah, they just turn them into snipers. You can give the unit either a 6-up invuln or increase their invuln by 1 up to a 4+.
Up to a 4+.
Up to a 4+.
Okay.
Up to a 4+. You can reduce an enemy unit's leadership by 1 when you shoot at them. Mm-hmm. When a charge is passed, everybody in the unit gets Hammer of Wrath 2, and they count as flame weapons. Mm-hmm. Again, if you fail your leadership check on any of these, you take perils, which is unfortunate. But anytime you move, you get... Then the last one is Pavoni, where you basically move through terrain and get +3 inches to your move because you, like, fly.
Ooh, okay.
So...
I mean, +3 inches move.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Is it for the movement phase, or is it in general?
Whenever you're selected to make a move or run, the controlling player must make blah, 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 add a bonus to 3 inches to their distance moved.
Okay, so it just adds to their... So it doesn't change your move characteristic.
Right, so you don't get the bonus to charge.
That's what I was asking, yep.
Yes. The Hammer Wrath is really good when you charge. You just get a bunch of hits. The Invuln one is obviously incredible.
Yeah.
You have a unit with a 5-up, guess what is it for? And then Corvidae, which you get to allocate the first wound, is just great if you have... Like, imagine if you have that heavy weapons guy.
Yeah.
The heavy weapon
A heavy
character.
weapon team? Yeah. Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah, he just, like, lines up a target and just...
Having a siege breaker with a las cannon who's just every turn being like, I allocate this shot.
Yeah.
And it is strength 9.
Yep.
So that'll instant death like conventional T4 characters.
Yes.
That could be really good.
Yes. And then if you have pinning weapons, you can make any unit you shoot -1 leadership for that. So that's pretty solid. The Rites of War, they have one where they make Sekhmet Cabal's troops. And Sekhmet Cabals are their like Scarab Occult Terminators, basically. So you can just take a ton of Terminators, and then they all go like, I'm +1 invuln today, or I'm +3 inch move today.
Oh.
Yes, yes. That seems really good. They also have one where they can take Castellax Battle Automata.
Yep.
Which are pretty decent. Castellax Achaea Automata. They seem pretty good. They have 4 wounds apiece and a 3-up save.
T6, 3-up save. 140 points each, though.
Each. But they are...
They're psychers.
Thick. They are not psychers. Or they are psychers.
They are psychers.
How did I miss that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, they're psychers,
Yes.
Jack.
Oh, my God. This is a paragraph here. Yeah. No, there's... I don't know how I missed that. They, yes... They can do a lot of special things.
Yep. Just tell me something Magnus does.
So Magnus...
Like, I just need to know. Like,
he knows all the powers.
Okay, that's reasonable. It is Magnus.
Yes. He has Adamantium Will 3+.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that means he bounces powers on a 3+.
When he gets targeted?
When he gets targeted, which, by the way, the entire World Eaters army with Angron gets to do. So do not play Thousand Suns into World Eaters. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, jeez.
When he picks powers for his psychic power, when he picks targets for psychic powers, he everything's counted as being in line of sight for him.
Magnus, sure.
Magnus.
One eye somehow sees better than everyone else. He makes sense.
Also, in every turn, he gets to use a psychic power, and a psychic weapon, and a minor arcana off the Prospering Arcana.
Okay, so he gets to use one spell and a psychic weapon and any one of the Prospering Arcana.
Yes.
Ugh, okay. I mean, it's Magnus.
Yes.
He should be allowed to do this if anyone should.
Yes. When using the minor arcana, he automatically passes any psychic checks. And also, when he's in an army, when he's a warlord, any perils of the warp have -1 wound.
When he's in the army?
Yeah.
Is it for him or anyone?
Anyone in the army, when they take perils...
And it's D3 wounds, right?
Yes.
So D3 -1 means that there's... Oh, okay, that's good.
Yes, that's much better. Much, much better. So when he's in the army, you're not going to just cripple yourself with perils of the warp.
Woo!
Yeah.
Sekhmet Terminators are pretty good. Are the Sekhmet Terminators psychers inherently? They are.
Oh, they are. They super are.
We have some Alpha Legion questions in the chat that I'll explain later. So Sekhmet Terminators are psychers inherently.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Good to know.
Yeah, they and they can become troops if you run
the right rights of war.
Right rights of war, and they're chunky, for sure. They're relentless. They're psychers. They can give themselves +1 to their. They have Cataphractic Terminator, so they have 4 invuln, and then they can give themselves +3 inches to their move. On top of that, so they move 6, so they can go 9 inches. So they can be quick for Terminators.
Yeah?
And quick for Terminators is a real thing because they are hard to deal with a lot of the time. Contemptor Osiren Dreadnought Talon. They're Dreadnoughts with Adamantium Will 4+.
That are Psychers.
That are Psychers, again, so they can...
As you'd really expect.
So they can take their 5-up invul into a 4-up. Or have +3 extra move. Whatever
they're really feeling. They're also dope models, by the way.
They are really, really cool. And then they have a Gravis Force Blade, which just hits incredibly hard. Brutal 2, Achaean Force, which which we skipped over. Achaean Force.
No, we gotta talk about the unique weapons.
We gotta talk about
unique weapons. Do matter a lot.
So Achaean Force is something basically every special weapon here has. Whenever you shoot or fight with an Achaean Force weapon, you can pass a psychic check. If you do, you get +2 strength for the whole unit on that shooting attack or close combat attack.
So it'll go from strength 9 to strength 11?
Yeah, so the Ether Fire weapons are all strength 6. These are basically plasma guns. But instead of being strength 6, they go to strength 8 if you pass the leadership check.
What?
Yeah, you have to go off the leadership value of
How did we not lead off with that?
Oh, because there's so many cool things in this. Yeah, so all your plasma weapons can be swapped out for, and I'm very mad as a Word Bearers player because my Warpfire weapons you have to pay a premium for, free.
What?
So
how is that free?
So instead of being breaching 4+, they're rending 6+.
Okay, they're AP 4.
And they're AP 4. But so they're basically swapped to being a completely different type of weapon.
Yeah, that is a completely different weapon. AP 4 does make a difference there.
Yes, but they can go to strength 8, which is just instant deathing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And with rending, a lot of the time I would rather be strength 8, AP 4 rending 6 than strength 6, AP 4 breaching 4.
Yeah, especially into vehicles, I'd definitely rather do that.
Into vehicles, it's a completely different beast.
Yeah.
And into toughness 4, like Terminators, that sort of thing, just instant deathing them
just every failed save.
Every failed save, you're just dead.
Or a 6+ is really good.
Or a 6+.
So I could see a lot of these weapons getting a lot better when we introduce the non-power armor armies in. Because like there is going to be an Imperial army, there is going to be a Mechanicum, there will probably be demons and traitors and all this other stuff at some point. This and like Night Lords seems like it'll get a ton better into the non-Space Marine armies.
Don't worry though. Any weapon with any character, like any non-independent character in a unit, can swap out their their power weapons for an Achaea pattern force weapon, which has the Achaean Force +2 if you pass the leadership check.
Yep.
And is also AP high rending or force or whatever. So like you just bonk people in combat. Like, would you like a power sword that's strength +2?
I would like that.
Yeah. So overall, Thousand Suns look really good.
Yeah, I'm putting them at the top.
Yeah, they
seem to be the first among traders so far.
They really do. Just the fact that any unit can just add one of those 5 buffs on itself is just a big, huge deal.
Yep.
All right.
So, Sons of Horus up next. This one's fun. So, Sons of Horus, the War Master Zone, you would expect them to be pretty good. Sons of Horus get -1 strength to incoming weapons against non-vehicles in the first round of combat. So if you charge them or they charge you, -1 strength in combat.
That's a big deal.
That's a huge deal. Like, what? -1 strength?
Yeah, it's
like,
especially since
that's basically a -1 to wound.
A lot of the time, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
in combat, they're just really hard to
crazy
to
freaking
knock
good.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, they're good at everything. Honestly, they're the Sons of Horus. They should be. Their reaction is awesome. When an enemy unit within 12 inches of them shoots, before that unit even gets to hit, the Sons of Horus unit is like, "Allow me to interrupt you," and then the Sons of Horus unit shoots a +1 ballistic skill. So they're like, "Okay, I know you were about to shoot. I'm literally going to do my entire shooting attack. Pull your casualties, then you can shoot me."
Yeah. That's up close. But like, oh my God, did that hit?
Yeah, Sons of Horus like getting up close. It almost feels like Warhammer 40k Space Wolves, where it's not that they're just a perfect combat army or a great shooting army. It's that they're a good up close shooting army and a good combat army.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite ways to play the game, honestly.
Their Warlord trait is honestly really cool. They've got a couple of them, of course. One of them, which is Traitor only, is that any turn you can just choose to roll a dice for your Warlord, and on a 2+, he gains a strength and a toughness. On a 1, he loses a wound, but on a 6, he gains a wound and a strength and a toughness.
Can you just do that every turn?
Yeah. It's until the next turn. So
okay.
It'll never be more than +1 strength toughness. But you can just make a Warlord who hits pretty hard. Yeah, they have an equerry upgrade, I think, which is like they can make a console into like the Eye of the War Master, which just gives the entire army stubborn, and then is a 6-inch aura of +2 leadership, or leadership 10, I should say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
So they're not going anywhere if you take that guy. So you can just be like, we're sticking around. Which is, on the one hand, like, it sounds weird to be like, yeah, I'm going to take a console just for stubborn on my army. But on the other hand, I keep hearing like, yeah, Night Lords, just everyone takes a pinning check. Yeah, just -3 leadership. And I'm like, maybe I do want to be stubborn.
Yeah.
Because also that means you're a lot less likely to flee combat.
Yeah, leadership 10 stubborn means you just really
You are just here.
You don't run away.
It's as close to fearless as you can get. One of the rights of war, by the way, the Black Reaving is amazing. So the Black Reaving, Reavers can be line troops. Okay, Reavers, so they become troops and they're line. They have to have more fast attack than heavy support, and they have to have master signals. But they gain rage, too, on the entire rights of war.
So if you want to be world leaders, now's the time?
If you want to be like world leaders, now's the time. And Justera and Terminators gain deep strike. And and they've got like AP3 shred on their axes. So like, Justera, we haven't, like, we talked about deep strike a little bit. It is hard. It is very hard to get deep strike, because you can just charge after deep strikes now.
Yeah. No, deep strike is a really, really good rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
most units don't get access to it at all. Like even Terminators. Terminators, you would think in 40k, like, ooh, they can all deep strike.
I feel like I should mention that Horus is an absolute Chad. He's 600 points, so you're not going to take him often. But by the way, if you're really playing 4,000 point games, you could pay 400 points to get Horus Ascendant. At which point,
it's 1,000?
Clean 1,000. At that point, I mean, honestly, like, we should just let's just pick a couple rules for Horus Ascendant. There's like a Horus data sheet, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you flip the page, and you're like, oh wow, we're still on Horus.
Oh wow, that is an entire page of just rules.
Yeah, literally an entire page of rules.
He gets Feel No Pain 4+, Rage 3, a Dark Fate, the Power of Chaos Eternal, and the Spreading Corruption.
Yeah, and then he gets like, Horus is.
His strength and toughness can go to 10 once a game.
Yeah, that's
just one of them.
Yeah, Horus don't care. Horus don't play. Horus don't mess around. Horus is 1,000 points when you take him Ascendant. But I mean, come on, don't we all want to just a little bit put the big baddie down?
Yeah, I want to take just. Oh my God, he has strength and toughness 8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Horus Ascendant slaps.
He has a 3-up invuln.
Yep.
Stock.
It's just comes with it, and he's 8 wounds when he's Horus Ascendant. T8, 8 wounds, 3-up invuln. Like, I was like 1,000 points. I'm like, oh man, yeah, this guy really just beats. Now, of course, since he's 1,000 points, you can only take him in 4,000 point games.
He is brutal too in combat, which means he just beats other Primarchs.
Yeah, just take double saves every time he hits you.
I mean,
Horus Ascendant, if anyone's going to kill Sanguinus, it's Horus Ascendant.
It is unwieldy, which is very odd, so he fights at initiative 1. But then...
Horus don't care. He has the Talon of Horus as well, right?
He does have the Talon, which has definitely great AP too.
It's definitely
so great. He'll kill your entire unit.
And then again.
And then again.
I'll do it again. Horus.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Horus slaps people. It's Horus, he should be. I'm not really sure where to put the Sons of Horus. I think they're a strong choice.
I don't know. I think they're perfectly balanced.
You think so?
Yeah, they seem fine.
I like how good they are in like up close in combat. I don't know. We can relook at the end.
We can reevaluate.
All right, tell me about Word Bearers. I know you're excited for them.
What I will be playing. They were my first army. Love Word Bearers. Don't care.
We know.
Don't care. Doing it.
Yeah, all right, more like Nerd Bears.
Oh, shut up. So their Legion trait isn't unfortunately the best. Mm-hmm. It seems decent. You can never modify their leadership characteristic below 6, so they're always going to be taking at least a passable leadership check. I wish there was like a 7. 6 is
like leadership 7 is like the base.
Yeah. And if you draw combat, you're counting as 1 by a point, which is decent. Considering you can stack a lot of modifiers to your combat attrition value, so you like win combat, so you have no reason winning. Their advanced reaction is sweet.
Okay.
It's when I'm targeted for a shooting attack, I pull a guy, and I'm like, we're done here. The shooting attack is over.
Just one guy.
One
but
guy
it's only
walks,
one shooting attack.
Yes, one guy walks clean out in front and just absorbs all the bullets. And we're good.
That is really freaking strong.
Yes. This ends the shooting attack with no further rolls or tests being made.
Ugh, no tests either, so no pinning or morale check.
Yep, just we're good. We're done. You and I, we're
Can you
finished.
do it when I use a reaction to shoot you? Or is it...
during the opposing player's shooting phase.
Yes.
Yes.
Real quick, we've got a $5 super chat from Matto. Want to talk about? Thank you so much, Matto, for that. And yes, we're glad that you appreciate the content. We did not see any rules for Luther and the Fallen in here. Did not see any of that. So hopefully that comes in some of the updates that they have promised us. We'll see. We didn't see any like Shattered Legions either. So I'm guessing that there's going to be a little bit more Spaceman content coming for like those non-Legion sub-factions as like PDFs or something from Games Workshop. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So they have Wordbearers have a bunch of cool warlord traits. Unswerving Devotion is a 6-inch aura of your first failed leadership check every turn passed.
Healthy.
Very good. Iconoclast is the warlord and his unit gets +1 attacks against anything with an independent character in there.
Okay, they don't like characters.
They really don't.
Okay.
Enslaved by Darkless basically turns them into a demon. You get +1 strength and toughness early on. No modifier turns 4 and 5, -1 on game turn 6. And you count as being a demon. That's cool. Dark Brethren is fine. What I'm interested in is Last of the Serrated Sun from Rites of War.
Yep.
Galvor back squads can be taken as troops choices. All Galvor. So this is basically just a better drop pod.
Drop pod assault?
Yeah, drop pod assault. From the Rites of War from the base, like the base ones.
Yeah.
This is just like a better one. All Galvor back squads can select a drop pod as a dedicated transport, and any unit composed entirely of models with infantry get drop pod can take a drop pod instead of a rhino.
Okay.
You can't include any units with a movement characteristic of 0 except for drop pods, and you can't take an allied detachment. You can't use an allied detachment, and you must be a traitor. Okay. But in exchange, you get Galvor back as troops and drop pods for everybody.
Not
no,
line,
but there is a way to make them line, and we will get there. You can give any upgrade. You can give anybody the Burning Lore upgrade, which turns them into a Diabolist, which lets them get really buff and chunky when they run into combat. Basically, they summon the power of the demons.
Reasonable,
yeah. And you can give them Dark Channeling for 25 points per unit. Dreadnought, a unit, whatever, gives them the Corrupted Unit subtype. And Corrupted Unit basically makes them a demon.
Solid.
They get Fear 1, but against Force or Psychic Focus weapons, they're instant death. You don't like that. You also immune to the effects of fear, automatically pass regroup checks, cannot choose to fail a morale check due to our weapons are useless. And when you fail a morale check or fallback, you instead suffer D3 automatic wounds with no saves or damage mitigation.
Woof.
So you basically become a demon.
Yeah.
But you gain Fearless.
Yeah.
Functionally. And you can't mesh corrupted units with non-corrupted. So independent characters that are not corrupted can't join, vice versa.
Okay.
But you gain Fear 1, and there's a lot of fear in this army.
Yeah.
So your big aura is a -1 leadership. Bolt spitters are basically bolt guns that fire a lot of shots. Warpfire weapons are really cool. They're essentially not flamer weapons. They're essentially plasma weapons with all the same rules, but with pinning attached to it. So if you wanted pinning, guess what? Pinning.
Yeah, at least you don't modify my leadership that much.
No. At least I don't have fear everywhere.
Ah.
So I have easy access to good pinning weapons that can do the wounds that I need. And they're 5 points extra. And then tainted weapons, you can upgrade any model with a character subtype, so a champion or an independent character, anything like that. Pay 10 points to upgrade to a tainted weapon instead of a power weapon. And a tainted weapon is the same as a power weapon. One slight, just little quibble in there. They get Murderous Strike 6+, so instant death.
How many points is it to upgrade that?
10. So you can just sprinkle instant death throughout your army.
Yeah. Tell me about these.
Diabolists, you basically get a Super Flamer with Deflagrate Strength 7 AP 4, Rending 6+, as your psychic weapon. And then they get a Dark and Terrible Power, which is when they charge into combat, you pass a psychic check, and you get Hammer of Wrath 3, and you get +1 Strength and Toughness. And if you fail the check, you get Perils of the Warp. You don't get the Hammer of Wrath, but you do get the Strength and Toughness. It's really, really good. And you also get a forced weapon at no additional points cost because you're essentially a Libby.
Yeah.
And it's also doesn't look like it's a console upgrade.
Tell me about these data sheets.
So Lorger, they have a lot of data sheets.
No one cares about Lorger. Come on.
Yeah, Lorger,
I just asked the chat. No one cares about the Nerd Bear himself.
All right, fine.
All right. Tell me about Lorger.
Lorger's big thing is that when he's in a unit, they get Fearless and Feel No Pain 4+. In a unit.
4+ Feel No Pain is that's a buff.
Yes.
That's something you can give to people. Yep.
He's a Psyker. He's a good one. He is he's a Primarch in combat, so he punches.
Yeah.
And he gets a 3-up invuln against Force or Psychic Focus weapons and Perils of the Warp. So if he's in a unit of demons, he can be the tank on a 3+ against all the Force weapons that would put you out normally.
Yeah. So he can join the corrupted units?
Yep, he can be corrupted. He gains corrupted if he is Lorger transfigured, which only costs him 25 extra points.
Okay, so if you want to be corrupted, you can make him corrupted.
Yeah, he swaps out his powers for Anathemata and Diabolism, so he can summon demons and whatnot. He's good in combat. He gives everybody +1 to charge when they're in the line of sight of him. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Solid.
He's solid. He's not that expensive, which is good.
All right. Tell me about your boy. I know who you want to talk about.
Oh, you know who I want to talk about.
I know who you want to talk about.
Not Zardu Layak.
No, it's
Argol Tall. I read Betrayer, okay? So I love Argol Tall. And fortunately, Argol Tall loves you. Argol Tall is... So first off, he's just got a beefed up stat line. Weapon skill 6, movement 8, but we'll get back to that. Strength and toughness 5, 5 wounds, initiative 5, 4 attacks. So he hits.
Yep.
He just has a beefy stat line. He also has Rage 2, so he's going to have a lot of attacks on the charge. He's big, bulky. He has Feel No Pain 5+, so there's 5 wounds with a 2-up save. That's very hard to put away. He's Toughness 5, so instant death is hard to put on him, which is quite nice. He is an independent character. He's relentless. He hits very hard as well. So he has a bunch of attacks because he has a pair of talents. So he has 7 attacks on the charge with Rage.
Solid.
Yeah. AP 3 with Murderous Strike 5+, Rending 5+. So on a 5+, instant death AP 2.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Argol Tall hits.
His Warlord trait is Baller. Him, and a unit of Galvorback that he joins gets a 5-up Invulnerable and Line.
Yep, so that's how you get those line Galvorback.
Yes.
And a Galvorback hit.
And he is Line as well. So if he's buried in a unit, like he can just jump out. Like he is Line.
Yeah.
Himself.
Yeah, so he can be attached to anyone not Galvorback, and he himself would be Line.
Yes. And then also he is basically a jump pack that can be 14-inch moves, so he gets +3 to charge instead of +2.
Solid.
Yes.
And then Galvorback,
and when he runs, he moves 19 inches. Yeah.
Galvorback are what? They're toughness 5, 3 wounds, hit pretty darn hard.
They hit really hard. 5 attacks on the charge because they have a pair of talons. You can give them a pair of talons for free.
Yep.
And they have 5 attacks on the charge. Or they don't. They have 1 talon and a Bolt Spitter. And one guy can get a second talon to get a 6th attack.
Gotcha.
But Bolt Spitters are good because they also have Relentless. They can charge after shooting them. And Chosen Warriors means all of them can issue challenges or receive challenges. They have Feel No Pain 5+, 3 wounds, toughness 5, which is just a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, killing that's going to be a problem.
Yes, I have the Argol Tall model, 14 Dead Soul, and it is amazing, and I'm going to paint it up, and it's going to be, I'm so happy. Galvorback are also not that expensive. They're like as expensive as a Terminator, really. They're 55. And a
really
toughness
good.
5 with a 3-up, 5-up Feel No Pain, 3 wounds is just a bear to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, that is real problems. And Argol Tall, when he's joined in, has a 2-up armor save, so any small arms or anything, or any AP 3, he'll just tank instead.
All right. Where are we putting Word Bears?
I think they have so many rules and special characters and special units. That's not even talking about Ashen Circle, that have some of the best flamers in the entire game.
Torrent.
Because they have 6-inch Torrent, so you can just angle them to hit the perfect angles to get a million hits. And they have AP 3 Shred in combat.
Yep.
The Ashen Circle are also 25 points apiece.
They're good.
They're really good. Galvorback are really good. Their characters are really good. Their base rules are fine. They're fine. Their data sheets and their units and their special characters are insane.
Yeah.
I would put them at up there with first among traders.
100%. Yeah, they're definitely going to the top. Galvar backs seem really good. I don't know if... I honestly think they might be better than Thousand Suns. Word Bearers seem really strong.
Their base rules are not that great, whereas Thousand Suns base rules are really good.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to say.
I'll leave Thousand Suns up there. I like Thousand Suns
But their data
more.
sheets and special characters are...
Yeah, no. Word Bearers will go behind because, as the chat pointed out, imagine having a Primarch that hits Sigismund on a 5 in combat. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
Wouldn't be me.
Nah, wouldn't be me.
I mean, he has Feel No Pain 4+ for his whole unit!
I get it, but Sigismund doesn't instant
So
death.
now we're done with the Traitor Legions. Let's get on to the Alpha Legion.
Oh, yeah. One more.
I had to give the chat that.
All right, so Alpha Legion. Alpha Legion are dope as hell. Yes. Let's just start off with that. Alpha Legion are really cool. So Alpha Legion, their trait is that they always count as being 2 inches further away than their model placement anytime you shoot or charge them. So if you... Basically -2 to charge the army, and then also -2 inches to incoming range. Pretty good. They have a special rule built in where they can take one specific unit from another legion. So they can take 1 unit of Sekhmet Terminators, 1 unit of Iron Tyrant Terminators, 1 unit of Golden Keshik jet bikes. They can just take one of those units, port it over, and it gets Alpha Legion instead of being that. And then, of course, that unit can't be shot at until it makes a shooting attack or a charge. How do they know it's traitors? How do they know? How do you know? They're not going to know.
How would they know?
How would they know?
So you can just run this unit straight down the pipe at your opponent?
Until it charges or makes a shooting attack, cannot be targeted by range attacks.
But you can charge it.
I think so, yeah.
Because they just run into combat. They're like, hug! Wait, you're traitors! Bonk, bonk, bonk.
Yeah. So they got some cool rules. Let's actually open them up for me. Because I want to check out their special war gear as well. So their Warlord trait, I think, is just like my favorite one I've seen. And that is the Master of Lies Warlord trait, which is after the Seize roll, you get to redeploy 3 units. Which we don't really have redeploy in Heresy. But Jack knows how much I like redeploy.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14 Dead Soul, I have no idea how Ashen Circle...
14 Dead Soul, don't even get me started on Outrider bikes.
Ashen Circle might be one of the best units in the game.
Gargar asks, just the 1 unit? You say, oh, we'll get to that. So their reaction is called Smoke and Mirrors. This is fun. So once a game, when an enemy shoots the Alpha Legion unit, before any hits or anything are rolled, they can pop the reaction, and they pick up the Alpha Legion unit. And they place 1 model 12 inches away from the original spot. Then it scatters D6. Then you put the entire Alpha Legion unit wholly within 6 of the first model. And if they cannot shoot you anymore, if they perhaps cannot see you or perhaps you're out of range, they may not redeclare their shots. I needed Jack's face to set in there. Alpha Legion. There's more. The Coils of the Hydra Rights of War lets you get 3 units for Rewards of Treachery, which is the steal a unit from another army. So you can steal 3 units from another army instead of 1.
That is really good.
Let's talk about what Bane Strike bolts do, which is like the special bolt guns they get.
Can you take my
Galvar back? 100%, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought it said no unique units, but
it's specifically unique units.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here?
The war gear, the Bane Strike bolts.
Oh god, Bane Strike bolts.
Yeah.
Bane Strike bolters. Oh, Breaching Bolters, huh?
Yeah, Breaching Bolters.
At Strength 5 AP 4. So this is a plasma weapon?
Yeah, you would think that, because it's like that, but it's also a bolter. Just Bane Strike Bolters. Yeah. You want to kill power armor? You want to make fun of power armor and stunt on them while you kill them? Bane Strike Bolters. It's pretty good. Normally the only redeploy you get is like Scout.
Yeah.
Alpha Legion just gets like redeploy.
Yeah.
They are real good.
They seem really interesting. I like the Traitor units. Yeah. It says you can't take any that are unique units.
Oh yeah, unique means you can't take a named character.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what unique is.
You can totally take Galvar back.
Yeah, you can totally take Galvar back. Yeah, you can't take Argoltal. They're not that good. But yeah, Plasma bolters! Yeah, oh yeah, Sons of Horus do also get Bane Strike bolters, which is awesome.
No, 14 Dead Soul, the fluff behind Alpha Legion getting them is that they paid them. Now they're yours.
No. They killed them, and they put on the armor. And they're like, yeah, we're just going to fix up this Terminator armor real quick, paint it white, no problem. No problem. Alfarius, by the way, has some pretty cool rules. He has 3 different special rules that he can once a game choose to give to the entire army. You can give them Fleet 2, or Preferred Enemy, or Sudden Strike.
Yeah, Preferred Enemy is
gross. Once a game, the entire army gets Preferred Enemy. It's like, huh!
Reroll 1s to hit and wound.
Yeah, that's Preferred Enemy,
in a
right?
game that doesn't have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So I honestly think with all that flexibility, I think that they are up there.
Oh yeah, Alpha Legion are one of the first among traders, I think. They're so freaking cool.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. None of them
are bad.
Really cool.
None of them are bad. Within this, I'm comfortable with every category that we did here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they sort out within each category, but like all of them have really cool mechanics.
They all have really cool mechanics.
All
None of
fitting.
them seem bad. So really, I would just say whichever one has your heart.
Yeah, and none of them are bad.
We haven't played games with them yet.
No.
And I do anticipate our opinions changing pretty soon. And
yeah, Galvar back in person and Galvar back does not make sense. I get they're like, yeah, we just borrowed a jet bike from a dead White's car and put on his armor and painted it white and it was good after we fixed it up. I don't get how they put on the Galvar back meat suit. But you know what? We're gonna call it like digital effects.
Yeah, it just as soon as you get close, they just
yeah.
Donk, donk, donk.
Yeah, no, Alpha Legion are definitely in the top. Bane Strike bolts are so good. The unique units are pretty good. The Rights of War to get more other units is just awesome. Having a redeploy after the Seize roll is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And Preferred Enemy everything once a game is just...
Yeah, and Alfarius is also nice because he's not a very expensive Primarch. He's not a Primarch you send into other Primarchs, by the way. If Alfarius like goes and runs into like even like a mid-tier Primarch like a Rogel Dorn, he's probably going to lose. But he still beats up the non-Primarchs pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing with Lorgar. He's going to lose combat to, like, really good combat units or Primarchs. But
or Sigismund. Yeah, Sigismund.
Sigismund's whole thing is he's good in combat.
Yeah, and Lorgar's
whole... Feel No Pain to everybody.
Lorgar's whole thing is that he's bad in combat. What do you want? Nerd bears. All right. So, this is it. I think we're done here. Honestly, like all of them. None of them were bad. All of them at least build into their own flavor. I feel like, someone in the chat was saying that we maybe undervalued Death Guard not getting pinned. That we honestly might have. Because when we play and the shrapnel bolters start pinning everything in the game, that's probably going to get really annoying. Because pinning checks seem wild.
Yes, they're real good.
Real good.
And being army-wide immune to some of them is also
really good.
Really good.
But hopefully you enjoyed this, everyone. If you like this content, please let us know in the comments below. Just let us know what you think. Again, we're just getting our toes wet with Horus Heresy. There's a lot more coming. We're really excited for it. So let us know what you want to see in the comments below. If you like something we did, you want something different, share with your friends. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Hopefully you're as excited for Horus Heresy as we are. We're planning to keep making content. So come back and join us next week. But maybe you want some more Warhammer 40k content as well. There is a ton of it coming up. A couple people have already mentioned some command point changes in the chat below. We're going to wait and we're going to talk about that on Saturday. Once that book is up for pre-order, we are going to have so much content coming out, you'll be able to cherry pick literally whatever you want. We're going to make it. So if you like this, if you like Warhammer, check us out.
Trey Dudley says, before you go, which we were about to, can you answer my super chat real fast?
We missed a super chat. Terribly sorry. I was behind all the spam bots. They literally drowned you. I'm sorry, Trey Dudley. The Alpha Legion was trying to suppress you. Thank you for pointing that out. So, Trey Dudley, the $5 super chat, thank you so much. Will we do a review of the Horus Heresy missions? They're so different than 40k. Seems important to talk about how to strategize around them. That would be an excellent video to do in the future. So, yes, we definitely will be talking about that sometime soon.
That's a really good thing. Breaking down new rules. Just figuring out how you can just, approach the missions.
Yeah, so Trey Dudley, we will 100% do that soon. Thank you so much for your super chat. If you like our content, check it out. Warhammer 40k and 30k, we've got a lot more coming up. And of course, we have a lot in the War Room where we're going to be talking a lot about the new Warzone Nephilim missions. All right, thank you so much for watching, everyone. We will catch you next time.